Hi, and welcome to Some Geeks Talking. I'm your host, Tyler Hewitt, and today I'm joined at the Geek Table with two guests. Well, one's not really a guest. He's like a, what would you call it?
Local podcast extraordinaire.
Yeah, this is the...
I'm absolutely joking.
So...
I've been on one other podcast.
You've been dubbed the curator of comics.
Yes, the curator on Pull This Podcast.
Yeah, I've got a cheap plug for Pull This
little,
Podcast.
Little cheap plug.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good show.
They're my boys.
But this is Jason Gilmer. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Welcome to the world
of
Some Geeks Talking. And my lovely wife, Megan, who is doing her first ever podcast.
Super nervous.
Yeah, super nervous. I definitely feel like I'm going to throw up.
Oh.
I told her that she had to be on this because without Megan, I would have never met Tyler.
Yeah, so let's just jump into that whole...
Yeah, man.
Like the origin of this trio. So...
I was your lead when you started working you tried your hand at the electrical field.
Right. But I met you before then. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Drunk at my dad's house.
Yeah.
Seafood party. 2000 and... Was that 10 or 11?
Maybe 11. Maybe 12.
I was probably pretty drunk.
No, it was actually 2014.
That was really the first time? Yeah, it was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first time I met a lot of
Yeah,
the
because
SME
remember,
guys.
that's the year that we broke up in the car
Oh,
while we
geez.
took
Oh,
choral.
that's right. Yeah, because I didn't want to talk to you because Megan was like, "Oh, we broke up." I'm like, what the fuck? Why is he here? What the
Remember
fuck?
that?
What is going on?
I don't think that should be shared.
You'll get it in post. It's fine.
Yeah, but we're happily married now.
Hey, man, everybody's got their problems.
Yeah. But yeah, so that would be the first time I met you.
Yeah, that wasn't a real
No, but that was I'm a boyfriend of the guy the guy who's throwing this party's daughter. I'm the tag-along boyfriend.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I'm not saying anything to all these scary construction workers.
Which is funny, like, when you get to know, especially me, like, I'm not scary.
No, yeah. Jason does a really good job of hiding his geekdom and nerddom within the group. He taught me when to speak out about that kind of thing in that field. If any of you work construction, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
That is because I grew up in the 80s. I'm a child of the 80s.
Yeah.
And, you didn't really talk about it all that often.
You had that belt buckle, though. You still got that belt buckle?
I still got it, man. I'm
rocking the
Nintendo belt buckle.
Yeah, the old school NES controller belt buckle. He would catch so much crap for that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, showed a little personality. I learned that early on. Do not show any personality.
Yeah, don't let any weakness show through.
Or you will be promptly destroyed.
You have to be the biggest. Like, even at work, you got to put on a persona.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird in the construction field. Although where I'm at now, I don't... Like, I let the geek flag fly, man, and it's so much fun. And people are like, yeah, man, right on.
Yeah.
What? I've been doing this for a really long time, and it's okay now? It's like I even joke with people like, yeah, you'd never talked about being a geek, and now you can actually use it as a pickup line.
Oh,
Although I don't use it as a pickup line now because I'm happily married as well.
Yes. But yeah, that did shift a few years ago to where it became the norm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to call him out right now, but James Johnson, rocking a Captain America shirt just about every time I see it.
Same one, too, I think.
Well,
That's
I'm not going to throw that under that he only has one.
That's like literally like his going out
I will. James
outfit.
Johnson, you only have one shirt, and that is it.
But it's a good shirt.
But we love you for it. That's you.
He ain't listening.
An issue, by the way.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I get on at SME, and like day one.
You're with me?
Yeah, I know the first week I was there, I was with you more than not of those days.
Yeah,
and definitely afterwards, it became regular. But then
I gave you the nickname that you absolutely hated.
Oh, don't say it. This is supposed to be my.
Oh yeah. And guess what? I'm gonna take a little bit away from you. No.
Always putting me in my place.
It's all for fun.
Yeah.
So I gave you that nickname. That I'm sure someone in the comments will. I won't divulge it yet. I will another time. It'll
tune
slip.
in next week.
Maybe it might slip tonight. And then what else was there? Was one other thing. Oh yes, I have a story for you.
Okay.
And this was one time I took Tyler out to lunch.
Oh yeah. I know where he's going.
And
I know where he's going.
This was the most frustrating lunch I've ever seen. I've ever had in my life. We went to a hot dog joint in Columbus, Ohio, 30 francs. And I'm super excited. I love this place. You can get whatever the crap
The place is amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you can get whatever the crap you want, from kimchi to chili sauce on a hot dog. And we sit down there, and I'm giving the whole spiel, like, oh yeah, this place is amazing. You can do this and this and this and this. He goes, oh yeah, that sounds great. Sounds great. We sit down and order hot dogs, and this dude orders a plain hot dog. It stops me in my tracks. It stops the waiter in his tracks, and he's, wait, what? Both of us, what? What is, really? Yep, that's what I want. Whoa. What is going, and then waiter walks away. I look at Tyler, are you effing serious? What is going on here? I hate condiments.
Yes.
Which makes zero sense, because Tyler's a big guy, so you immediately look at him and think he's going to order 3 piled high hot dogs.
Yeah, that I've never seen. To this day, I've taken many people to that hot dog joint, and I've never seen anyone
Do you remember what that hot dog was called?
The Glen Beck.
And why?
Plain as hell.
Yeah, it was like something like he's a plain old weenie or something like that.
So anyway,
little
embarrassing story.
I'm going to add to it later on. From my perspective, going in there, and the menu has a million different hot dogs, and it felt like it.
It's not.
I'm in the big city. Columbus scares me.
Yeah.
But
which you later find out.
I believe you got like a bacon hot dog or something like that.
Oh, I could not.
But I thought, I should have got the bacon hot dog. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was way better than just a plain hot dog that you can make at your house.
For like less than 99 cents, because you can get a pack of hot dogs for 99 cents.
Paid like $3 for a plain hot dog.
Oh, that was one thing you'd learn real quick. Eating lunch at SME will cost you some money.
I never did. I very rarely.
Yeah. I know when me and you were doing generators, we would do let's just not take a lunch.
That's just work. Work through it.
But
anyway,
to get back onto the
we're here for geek stuff, right?
Yeah, not just share war stories.
Yeah,
but where we connected wasn't our knowledge for the electrical field. It was the rides to and from job sites.
Yeah,
talking about comics, talking about the superhero movies.
Which this perspective would be. I've been anxiously awaiting this conversation because we've never actually had this conversation. I had no idea that's what you really took out of it. Like you asked questions, I answered because I'm aimlessly driving and chain smoking cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
I was always pissed off and whatever. So I'm really curious to see your side of the story. So.
I do remember the chain smoking. I remember thinking, I'm getting a damn headache. I don't think I've ever seen someone smoke so many cigarettes.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that.
And I think I just asked you questions just to talk about something.
I won't talk.
We found common ground, and I remember talking to you a lot about, like, I find it fascinating someone who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to comics, because I'm a comic book, I wouldn't say, like, I'm not a hardcore fan. but I really enjoy it. I just have never found the time to really dive in, and it is overwhelming when you talk.
It's horribly.
When you walk into the comic book shop and go, where should I start? And it's like, oh my god, there's a million comics in here.
And the worst thing is when you walk into a comic book shop, especially when you've never been to, you're like, oh, I'm really curious about comics. So you go in and you say, you got that look, and everyone can see it. If there's multiple geeks in the comic book shop, like, oh man, this guy's brand new.
Yeah,
Look at him.
they see right through me.
Look at him, lost as hell.
Yeah.
And then but it is overwhelming. And then you can't, you go up to the guy, running the counter. What should I check out?
Yeah.
Or
what do you recommend?
What do you recommend? And then you see the guy just roll his eyes.
Yeah, I've literally had that happen to me. We had an old comic book shop. It's under a new ownership now, but the guy literally was like, I don't know, man. What do you like? Couldn't have been more of an asshole about it.
Yeah, it's really tough, and it's really tough to find a comic book shop that you like and get along with the people, because nerds are, geeks, nerds, whatever you want to call it. We're a particular bunch of people.
Yeah, you can also be judgmental.
Yeah, and I hate those.
Right.
I hate that because it's the comic book world is so small anyway. Like everybody should just be friends.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, come on, let's help the new guy out.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
But back to the rides. I just remember asking you questions and realizing, wow, he knows what he's talking about. I remember we had very detailed Wolverine going through all his back history, all the, hey, did you know this? Like, little things in the comics, I'm like, well, in the movie, it's like this, or in the cartoon in the 90s, it was like this.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what I was talking about, but you could also add in, like, man, you ever heard of Old Man Logan? And it's like, whoa, what? Like, oh, yeah, it's badass. You're going to love it.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
I never, and they had a sequel to that series too, and I started reading it, but I never picked it up. I'm not a big Marvel guy anymore though.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm super selective with Marvel. Like Wolverine, I'll still read Wolverine stuff. I'm trying out an X-Men run right now.
Which one?
X-Men Red. Yeah,
I've
X-Men
heard
Red.
good things about the gold, blue, and is it red?
Yeah, I have no interest in any of the other ones.
Okay.
I would in Red. I wouldn't have caught my interest had I not seen the cover of issue 2 that just came out this week, which is Nightcrawler.
Ooh.
And he's got a badass beard, and
Yeah.
Nightcrawler's my favorite Marvel character. Next to I never say, when somebody asks you what's your favorite character,
Right.
I never say Wolverine, Batman, because those are just implied.
Everyone
loves those.
I really can't think of anyone who's like, F Batman, F Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't.
pretty much generally everyone agrees that those guys are likable and the tops on everyone's list.
Yeah.
What are you reading now? I know you mentioned that you have a pull list.
Yeah.
What's on your pull list?
I've actually cut my pull list down a lot. I'm focusing my interest other places, but my pull list mainly consists of Batman and the X-Men Red. I've got Hellblazer on there, but I've fallen behind on reading it. I really like the character John Constantine. I'm a sucker for Justice League Dark Guys.
Yeah.
But I haven't read it in a while. I've been contemplating kicking it off, but it's just it's one of those things where it's like, I really like that Band-Aid sitting on my arm.
Yeah.
I don't really want to pull it off, but I probably should. Because I have no idea what's going on in the story, but I still buy it,
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, predominantly though, right now my pull is Batman stuff.
Okay.
And then the X-Men Red, obviously, like I said. But I haven't been doing a lot of reading lately. I've been doing a lot more drawing. So.
Yeah, and that's something we wanted to get into is you're definitely, kind of changing into more of a artist of
Yeah.
comic books and not a consumer so much anymore, like
Yeah,
you said.
I've put like because I'm a big comic book collector as well. You know, I drop some decent embarrassing money
Yeah.
and don't like to talk about that on comic books, and I've put that on hold right now because I want to shift gears and try to do something a little different, and you know that's hence why I'm here. And
Yeah.
then also, like, I showed up, you know, I was invited onto another, you know, the other podcast. And,
Yeah.
you know, in here and trying to play a big role with what you got going on here.
Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, what are you listening to other than obviously all the Some Guys Talking?
Oh, yeah. I listen to Some Guys Talking,
Yeah.
and I listen to the wrestling one, and
Yeah.
I don't care about wrestling at all.
Yeah.
I'm not into wrestling one bit. I was when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
My dad took me to WWF. I saw Hulk Hogan, the original, you know,
Yeah,
when he was,
his original
first,
run.
Yeah, his original run.
Yeah.
And so I saw all that, and it was awesome when you were a kid.
Yeah.
It was like comics. At one point in your life, you know, or at least in my life, and most nerds' life I talk to, you grow out of comics. You walk away from comics for a minute.
Usually when you find girls.
Yeah, usually.
Or when a girl says, like...
You're kind of cute. And you go, oh, what? Really?
Yeah, you sacrifice something, and it's usually the thing you love the most.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I walked away from comics at one point, and, you know, comics, it just comes back. But
I'm still waiting for you to sacrifice that, by the way.
Well, you came along at the worst time because I was out. I was out of wrestling and literally got into it like a week before we met. But
yeah, but so I listen to some guys. I listen to some guys talking wrestling.
yeah,
I love both those shows, and you know, the wrestling one is really caught me by surprise because I didn't think I'd like it. But you know, I mean, I wanted to support you.
yeah.
The only one I'm not going to listen to is a sports one because I'm that guy. I don't care about sports.
What are you listening to that's not?
Okay.
Some guys talking.
I listen to Pull This Podcast.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I got to support my local boys.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of Kevin Smith stuff just
Right.
because I absolutely, you know, I love Kevin Smith.
The Podfather.
Agreed.
Yeah, the Podfather. I listen to Hardwick.
Yeah.
I listen to a couple comedy shows with Bert Kreischer.
Okay. Yeah. He's good. He's really funny.
Yeah,
That guy's
he's super
awesome.
funny.
And then, you know, Rogan.
He has one of the most popular podcasts,
don't-
and I actually don't listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Like it's you can find anything on Rogan.
Right.
That guy's a machine. I don't know how he does it, but and then I just found one that I have already powered through all of them. There's not many episodes, but I've powered through the entire thing because it's centric around what I'm trying to get into, which is making my own comic books. But it's called Ghost City Comics.
Yeah, you.
I sent you the link
Yeah.
about it.
Yep.
And I found out about them, and I had no idea they had a podcast without, you know, they come up on my feed on Facebook, and they had a comic competition that, you know, I'm trying to build a team and can, you know, train and condition so that we
Yeah.
can actually do this because it's a pretty crazy.
Yeah, and the way you described it, it is something that you have to like legitly train for.
Yeah, man. And
tell
you
the
got to get ready
details
for it. Well,
Without going into too much specifics.
basically, it's a 5-page comic book in 5 days.
Yeah.
Um,
And you don't know what.
you have no idea what the premise is, you know. So everything has to be original ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and then so you can't do Batman. You can't do anything copyrighted. It has to be all original, and it's judged by actual people in the industry. So that right there is, you know, that's pretty sweet. You know, you can that's something. Even if you enter it, that's something, you know, hopefully you could put in a portfolio.
Right.
But they give you, you know, a prop, a setting, and a dialogue, and you have no idea what they are, and then you have to use that. And the guidelines are really, you know, the guidelines are really strict. You know, because they're going to push you on, timeline and deadlines and stuff like that. If you're, the way I look at it is if you're a minute late, man, you're done.
Yeah.
If you don't submit in the right time, you are immediately disqualified.
Right.
That's what it says. And they have all different types of categories, and it's really cool.
It's truly a training ground.
Yeah,
to producing a comic under a deadline.
Yeah, and you're gonna get noticed. And then so, to a degree, it's a lot of it's all indie stuff. So, going on their website, I found they have a podcast. Oh, right on. So I started listening instantly. Man, oh, this is what I need. You're talking to people. First episode was the winners for 2017. And they're asking, questions of how you got started, what you did, because every comic book person I've ever heard an interview with always has said, look, what worked for me isn't going to work for you.
Right.
What worked for John isn't going to work for, Steve. It doesn't work that way. There's no set way to get into this industry. And you just have to plow your own path.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at.
It's kind of like podcasting.
Yeah, a little bit. It's
the parallels are so strange.
They're very similar, and that's why I think I'm really glad that our friendship is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's
I know we kind of mentioned earlier. It all kind of sparked from going out. Megan had all of us kind of like a reunion,
so to speak.
Yeah, of the SME guys, and it just was like, hey, I got a podcast, and you're like, hey, that's sweet. I also wanted to bring up that. So, two big important things happened that kind of were the, I don't know the right word that I'm looking for, but like the catalyst to pretty much everything that's happening right now from all the shows. I saw the Impractical Jokers live and saw, because I'm a huge Tell 'em Steve Day fan, with Q.
Absolutely. I love
and
that show.
just seeing how much fun he has essentially hanging out with his friends and being himself.
Yeah.
And it was like the next day, or that was... When did you record the Pool This podcast? Dropped like on a Sunday or a Saturday?
Yeah, we recorded on a Sunday, and then I think I want to say it dropped on like the next day. Like Brian was pretty quick about it.
Yeah. I see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Did I text you? Or?
Yeah. Well, you texted me, and I think you even hit me up on Facebook.
Okay.
Which I think we had a conversation on Facebook, which I never have.
Yeah, because he promoted that you were on the show.
Yeah.
And because I asked if you were a regular.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh my God, is he on? Like, that's sweet. I'm definitely going to listen. I'm huge into podcasts. I was really hoping he was a regular. So just like.
Well, at the time, I don't even know what I didn't even really know what a regular was. When he first approached me about doing a podcast, he was like, hey man, I should have you on as a guest. I'm going, really? Why? What am I going to bring? And then, without, I tried to walk away from it, because it was like, yeah, that's silly. What am I going to talk about? I'm not that interesting of a person. And then, you get the gears start thinking, you're like, man, I'm going to regret that. I think I need to get on that. So it's like, all right, I'm going to drop a couple more hints at him. Like, hey man, I'm kind of interested in that. And then I'm so glad I did, because that kind of led me, that started me in the path that I want to go, because it was like, it's a big eye opener of it, like, oh wow, it's really not that hard to get your name out there. And I listened to this, Kevin Smith, I listened to all these other podcasts or even, shows, and it's like, chase your dreams, man.
Right.
Do it. Shut up and do it.
I'm really glad you did.
Get out of and the biggest thing, and we've talked about this, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
My biggest motivation for this is I'm tired of waiting on people, and I'm tired of waiting on myself.
I know I heard so I listened to that show, and I might have texted Megan immediately, but I said, oh, I have to do this now. For the longest time, I was just content with consuming other people's content.
Yeah.
And more like, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy all these great shows, because there's no doubt there are a ton of great shows you can listen to.
Oh, I mean, it's endless.
Yes.
We live in the world of the internets,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
And
I mean,
podcasts aren't even truly popular yet.
and
Some people don't even know what they are.
that's crazy. Like,
I think they're almost...
I don't even listen to radio anymore.
No, yeah, either do I.
Yeah.
I upgraded my phone package to unlimited data just so I could listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I want, or music whenever I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's become a nasty little beast.
Yeah. And then just the final thing. So I either messaged, I think I text you.
Yeah, you messaged
Finally,
and text.
Yeah,
and, I mean,
I was like, dude, that is awesome.
Since I was on that show, me and you have been.
We've talked more now.
Than
you
we
guys talk
ever
more
have.
than me and Tyler.
Oh yeah, I caught that crap.
Well, it was like my one of my buddies, Tim Waite. I went to college with him, so him and I are talking and working together right now. You know, trying to figure out where everything's gonna fall into play, and he's kind of my graphics guy, and it was funny because I called him Babe.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I call everybody Babe.
Yeah.
And then I think, and that even comes from SME.
That's
But-
definitely a construction.
Yeah, that's a construction thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, I texted him. He said something to me. I said, "All right, babe, good job." And he's like, He texts back. He's like, "You just call me babe." Yeah, you're gonna have to get used to that. I guess I didn't tell you that one, did I? But yeah, and then it's so we're working with him right now and trying to figure out a place for him, and then my best friend since kindergarten, Mark Halser.
Yeah.
He's my artist buddy. We've been through thick and thin, man.
So you're assembling this team.
Yeah, I'm trying to get
slowly
a team.
but surely coming together.
Looking for like-minded individuals
Yeah.
that want to just shut up and do
Work,
something. Yeah, and work.
Yeah.
I don't have time for there's no time for drama.
There's truly a sacrifice that comes in.
Absolutely, man.
Even at the very stage one of doing any of this creative stuff.
Yeah.
It does take a little bit of, it takes a lot of effort.
It takes so much effort, and I had no idea how much effort until, you really, you take just an hour and sit after you get to moving, and it's like, man, holy cow, I'm breathing. What?
Yeah.
Man, I'm exhausted. Why am I so tired? Oh, that's right. I've worked like 10 hours of manual labor today.
Yeah.
And then I came home and then I spent 4 hours drawing, trying not to ignore my 3 kids and my wife.
Oh, yeah. That is the juggling act.
Thank God my wife is, super supportive.
Right.
And is telling me, yes, go do,
That's the
do
most
this.
important thing right
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah. Like, I think, like, the passion fire that I've got burning right now, it bleeds over to her.
Right.
It's like the old saying, happy wife, happy life. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, that works both ways,
Right.
If you're freaking miserable, in return, Megan, you're going to be miserable because it's going to, everything works out that way.
It is just it's amazing where we came, how our relationship has come from working together to a point to where we butt heads, and then
I'm sure I've yelled at you.
You've yelled at me. I've thought, F this guy.
Yeah. How many car rides home have I listened to you complain about Jason?
And either just you had a bad day, I'm doing something I don't really want to do or learn, and it was just a bad mix.
Yeah.
And if you would have told me then, like, oh yeah, in a few years,
and
he's gonna essentially be the inspiration and your muse to like pursue your dream. Like, how this works is beyond me.
Yeah, because it was as soon as I was on that podcast, like, not even a week later, it felt like you had a podcast. Next thing you know, bam, you're right on Facebook with a podcast. I'm going, holy shit!
Yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
So
Son of a
I
gun.
listened to that like on a Monday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I think by Thursday or Friday of like it's been a month. As of this recording, I had texted my group of buddies and said, "Hey, this is my plan. This is what I'm doing. Who's with me?"
Who's
the
with
kind
me,
of
yeah.
Jerry Maguire. He's leaving. Who's with me? And a surprising amount of support from everyone. And that's another thing. You brought up your wife being supportive. Megan is super supportive, but it's amazing the support you get from people that you wouldn't expect.
Oh yeah.
We have an announcement later in the show, but I mean, he seems all gung ho and supportive, and
man.
it's like, how exciting is that?
Yeah, it's just like what we were talking about with comic book shops. It's rare to find a comic book shop that you like, and you know that this is one of them. You know, and he's super excited for anything and everything that's coming. You know.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing the same thing we are. He's just been doing it a little bit longer and in a different medium.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the path that I'm trying to take is a little bit different than yours, but at the same degree, I'm still involved with you to a sense. Hopefully, you know, you agree that when I say that we've kind of partnered up.
Oh, it's definitely.
It's mutual.
Yeah.
I mean,
a comic book analogy. Name your hero
symbiote.
team up. Yeah.
Or hero team up. That's even
like,
better.
It's Batman and Superman teaming up. They didn't always
I'm
get along.
Batman.
That's fine. Or you know, it's any one of those relationships that, like, Kevin Smith, Scott Mosier.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, and that's Kevin Smith is the guiding light through a lot of stuff, you know.
Right.
And
He has essentially done everything that you want to do.
Yes.
He's done everything I want to do. Make movies, podcast, and worked on comics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It-
And just hung out with your best friend your whole life.
Yeah, and then be able to shout out at Stanley on Twitter and go, "Hey man, I really miss you and I'm concerned about you. Can I come over or call you?" I want to do that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and you know, and he sits there and tells you every
show.
freaking podcast that you listen to with him, from you know even. You know, Hollywood Babylon to Fat Man on Batman
Smodcast.
to Smodcast to the earlier one with his wife.
Yeah.
And then there was
Edumacation.
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
Yeah, Jay and that's a huge one.
That is now my number one listen. I'm plowing through those left and right.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Yeah.
And you know, it puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
Know? As cliche as it sounds, I mean, starting to listen to Kevin Smith on podcasts, it really, I mean, he started to change my way of thinking.
Yeah.
And
It's
I was
amazing.
devastated.
Yeah,
when
he
this
really
guy,
gets in your head. And
oh yeah, and he screams at you,
Yeah.
dude. If you believe in something, do it.
Yep.
Do it. Stop talking and do it.
Yeah.
And you know,
I think that's an overall theme right now of our lives. It's well, I want to continue talking because guess what? Talking is podcast. But yeah, the whole just shut up and do it. Do your dream. Why are you waiting?
well, yeah. Who are you waiting on?
Right.
Because if you're waiting on this guy, he's never gonna do it for you.
And his dream might not be the same as yours.
Yeah, Seth Rogen. Okay, he's he's doing all these amazing movies and shows.
Yeah.
And they say, well, why are you doing it? He goes, well, if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it and F it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm down with that. Okay, I'm going to make a team. Follow the idea of what Kevin Smith did. Find my best friends.
Yeah.
Make new friends and best friends as I'm going. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
Because I'm going to go down this positive path and figure it out with the power of my friends and what we've got going on with this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
we I think every conversation we have through text or phone it ends in the future looks amazing.
Yeah. How bright is it looking?
Catch me that horizon.
Yes,
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, Tyler cannot stop, like, smiling now. Like,
Yeah,
I'll look at him,
awesome.
and he's on his phone, and I'm like, oh, he must be talking to Jason, because he's got that goofy-ass grin on his face.
Well, yeah. It's... I go through... now, Jason, you happened to call me when I was leaving work.
Oh, yeah.
And I happened to be in a little bit of a bad mood because there is issues sometimes arise with people, and you butt heads on creative.
I know.
And it was just like, damn, he said exactly what I needed to hear. Now I'm back focused, refocused, realigned, perfect.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into like what's your 6 months goal, your year goal? Do you have you set goals for yourself?
Yeah. Okay. So, sure. 6 month goal. 6 month goal is to be. Well, here coming up soon, we're gonna be, we're having another meeting, and probably recording another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But with you, you've told me that you're interested in writing.
Yes.
For me. Because I'm an artist, and I can write if I have to, but
Which blows my mind. I had this conversation with the other writer, Jake, some guy Jake.
Yeah.
And me and him have the same well, why if you're if I had the art talent, I wouldn't need anyone else kind of thing. Like,
well,
why
it's hard because the amount we touched on it earlier, the amount of effort that I'm just putting into this.
Yeah.
And it's just thinking half the time.
It does.
It's thinking and plotting and okay, well, I need to do this before I do that, and
it's one less thing to worry about.
It's one less thing to worry about. If you give me words, oh my God, that's awesome. I can draw. Okay, you give me words, I draw words. I draw words.
Yeah.
It works that way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be the right path. I'm not experienced. I want to be experienced. So in order to be experienced, I'm not Neil Adams by any means, who is an amazing...
Yeah.
He can write, he can draw, he can do everything. He can produce his own comic book. I can't. I need a writer. I can do pencils. And, lately... Sorry, so I'm stuttering. I'm sorry. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So lately, here, me and my artist buddies have we meet like every 2 weeks, and I'm trying. In the future, 6 month goal. I want to close that gap. I want that gap to be sooner, because deadlines in real life, when you're doing comic books, are not 2 weeks. So we're doing 1 page, standard comic book print page, pencils, and whatever layout you want to do. I don't care if you copy it from a freaking a comic book.
Yeah.
I don't. You want to do something original? Go for it. You want to copy something? I don't care. Just do it. Knock the rust off.
The reps. You need the reps.
We need the reps. You need to practice the panel layout. I've done fine art. I can. You can give me a photograph, and I can turn that photograph into a picture using charcoal or whatever medium you want, and make it look like the photograph. That's great. But panel work, there's an art to laying out panel work.
Right.
It's hard. And if you're not used to it, I've been reading comics since I was a little kid. I've always done splash pages.
Yeah, because it's fun.
It's easy and it's fun.
Yeah.
No, you have to tell the story.
Yeah.
And so 6 month goal is that. It's close that gap, and it's also get to talking to you and what's his name again? Jake. And Jake, you guys show interest in writing. I already know you're a like-minded person. If Jake is on, Jake's on some guys, dude, if he's in a group, man, he's ready to go. All right, let's do it. I don't care what it looks like. Let's figure it out together. Yep. Let's have a ball. Let's have fun and do it. And so when we do that, I want to set deadlines, because I want to enter that contest.
So that's your year goal.
That's my year goal, is to get. I'm getting in that contest. And I'm hopefully I'm gonna win.
What's your end goal? Is it to publish your own?
I would love to. I would.
Or
love
is it to get picked up?
Well, sure. The dream job would be draw Batman. You know, dream job, draw Batman, draw Wolverine. But you know, that's so far. I can't.
Right, but
if
Kevin Smith would tell you.
Oh, dude, if Jim Lee came up to me tomorrow and said, "Jason, we want you to draw Batman." Oh man, you know, come on. But that, you know, I mean, that's that pipe dream. My ultimate goal. I want to be able to produce and print and distribute my own comic book. If I can do that, if I can just do one.
You have a preference, digital or the physical medium?
Oh, I draw it, hand draw.
You want
digital's great. I think it's amazing. I'm not gonna dive into my true ideas on it. You know, just I don't want to. You know, I'm not going to discredit anything. I love digital media. It's amazing, and it's so.
But there is something to
and
actually.
I play with. Yeah, I still do it.
Yeah.
You know, I have a tablet, and I draw with it, and it's great. But man, it doesn't do the same thing for me and for me as pencil to paper.
Right.
I absolutely love that feeling and that sound.
How do you prefer to consume your comic?
Oh, I have to hold it. I have done digital comics in the past.
Yeah.
And they're great. They work out just fine. And
convenient.
They don't take up any room.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
They're not like the long boxes I have in my basement.
I have that same problem with my books.
Yeah.
I can't stand reading on a Kindle.
It's fine. It works, but it's just
there's something to holding it.
There is, man, and there's something
smelling it.
It's real.
When it comes to comic books, especially, there's something about going through and putting in the time, going from shop to shop, you know, finding your brick and mortar shops, and diving nose deep and digging through that long box.
It's the chase of collecting.
Chase. It's a find. I mean, it's as silly as it sounds. I mean, it's Indiana Jones chasing something, but you know, granted, it's less dramatic. You're standing in one spot,
and your lower back starts to hurt.
Your lower back starts to hurt, and then the nerds come up, and then you know you got to smell them. And,
that's my biggest complaint.
Yeah,
like brothers out there, fellow geeks and fellow nerds, just take a shower.
I know.
Once every 2 days would be great. Let's start there.
If you're gonna get out of the basement, take a shower. Or spritz with cologne. It's fine too.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're going anywhere.
Come on, guys. We're starting to take over the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we had that.
We can look good. We can clean up.
We went to a comic book shop the other day, and just the smell in the far back corner. It was like.
It's just like one of those stereotypes that is just a real thing.
It's not. Yeah, it's real.
Like there's no doubt about it. It's just a real thing.
Sadly it's real, and but you know, and that's funny too because you know we touched on earlier. I can use I'm into comic books as a pickup line.
Yeah.
But yet that stereotype is still there.
It still exists.
You know, it's kind of less talked about now.
Yeah, it's definitely the comic book shop guy from The Simpsons. Is the old stereotype when now...
And he still exists.
Yeah.
Don't get me...
Sure.
Yeah, listeners, please don't... If you have never walked into a comic book shop, please find your local comic book shop and walk in.
Yeah.
And if you walk in, you got to buy something, though. Because we need to keep brick and mortars alive.
Exactly.
The internet is amazing. It's an amazing tool, but please, every now and again, please walk into a brick and mortar and buy something.
Especially your local comic book shop.
Please support your local comic book.
I'd also say support your local video game store too.
Yeah,
because that's a dying industry. Really? I'm talking the local.
See, I'm not a video gamer.
Well, from just in our local area, we've seen GameStop has pretty much dominated, and the the one-off shops that are video game stores
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
have come and gone.
Well,
Quite
we've
Are they
frequently.
better than
Well,
GameStop?
see, this is where when you buy from them, you do pay more sometimes, but they will
Well,
have
they're supporting their family, man. I
Well,
mean, that's...
the best use for them is now you see I got a stack of like Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo games. GameStop ain't carrying that stuff. So your
Right.
retro stuff,
Yeah, see,
you gotta
now-
go there.
My video game, I'm retro. I still have a working Nintendo, and I break it out every now and again just because I'm super particular.
Yeah.
But now I just bought a PlayStation 4.
Okay.
I'm in love with this thing. But
What you playing?
I'm playing comic book games. I'm playing Batman Arkham City,
Okay.
and I am freaking. I just love it. It's like the best comic book I've ever seen.
I started the first one, the first Batman of that, like the Arkham.
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got like
yeah.
into it, and then I told Megan, I was like, I just gotta stop. This
Yeah,
is gonna take
it's
over
too
my
much.
life.
Yeah, it does. And I will sit there and like if I don't have the kids around, sometimes even if I do,
Yeah.
I mean, me and my son, man, we will sit there and we will just plow through that game.
Yeah.
Like
It's
you get up on a rooftop, turn it into detective mode. Was that Man-Bat? That was Man-Bat. Let's find him.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a green guy. Let's go interrogate him for the Riddler trophy.
I always liked watching you play that game.
It's
Well,
truly
Mark,
a
my
great game.
My best friend Mark, he come over last weekend before we went to Buckeye Comic Con, and he goes, and I'm sitting there. Me and my son are sitting there playing it, and he goes, "Man alive!"
So we just had to pause the show because Megan nearly choked to death on water.
Oh, sorry.
So if you notice a little flow of the conversation just all of a sudden change.
Yeah, I almost I completely forgot what I think I was saying that my friend came over and me and my son were playing the Batman game, and he said, "Oh my word, I could sit here and watch you guys play this game all day long." And it plays like a movie.
Yeah.
It plays like the best digital motion comic book you've ever seen, because you get to watch a movie, you get to interact.
You are Batman.
Exactly. You are Batman.
Yeah.
That's it. We're getting a PS4 and you're playing
Well,
that
it's
for me.
also Gabe has this. Our son Gabe, he has this game for the Xbox
He
One.
plays too fast for me, though.
Yeah.
Well, like my son, oh my God, I yelled at him one time, and I feel silly about it now. But he you get the remote control batarang, and he was sitting there throwing it and just controlling it and flying around. And I'm zoned out watching him play, and he's doing that, and I'm starting to feel crappy. I'm like, what is going on? Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Oh my God, boy, stop throwing that remote control batarang. I'm getting
Yeah.
motion sickness from it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You're old. That's a sign of being old.
Aw.
We had VR for about a day. You're too old for
my
it.
I've never done it. I've
Oh,
never done
yeah.
VR.
We did the Samsung VR. We bought it from Walmart. We were like super stoked to come home with it. Had it for less than 48 hours. Rode a roller coaster. Wanted to puke. Like, it was bad.
My son wants it. The PS4 has like
Oh,
a VR
we've looked
system.
into
That's
it,
what
yeah.
I
But
really
it's so,
wanted.
It's like $1,300.
so expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
at $1,300 if you're counting buying the PS4. But you already have the PS4, so it's just an additional $500. Just an additional $500,
only. It's fine.
Yeah, and then not counting the games you have to buy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my 8-year-old. I'm gonna make him work and do slave child labor.
Absolutely.
You're gonna earn that one, buddy.
Yeah.
That's the best
Now, are your
kind
kids
of labor.
into comics?
Yeah, they are. My son, he's really into. Excuse me. He's really into the movies right now. He's slowly getting into the comics. He likes to look at them, but reading them, he's he reads a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's more into oh, Ghost Rider. He loves the
Yeah.
He's into the splash page.
Yep.
Right now, and which I'm totally fine with. That boy, he's 8 years old, and he can name you probably every Justice League member. And Yeah, probably more DC than Marvel, just because I don't push Marvel so much. But and then my stepdaughter, she's into them too a little bit. She's a big My Little Pony freak.
Oh, like a brony?
Well,
she's a girl.
That's how that works.
I'm not. No.
Oh.
But funny story about that. So, have you ever watched that documentary, by the way?
Yeah,
I love it.
It
is one of my favorite docs.
Ridiculous. But anyway, so I will buy any comic for a kid. I don't care what it is. So my stepdaughter, she really likes My Little Pony. I bought her some for her birthday, a couple years back. She stopped her birthday party and read them. Oh, right on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, here recently, I went up, I came up to her and said, hey, do you want to start reading those My Little Pony books again? Yeah, I would read them. I said, okay, well, I'll get them for you if you want to read them. So then I go into my local comic book shop, Skylark Comics, or Skylark Toys and Comics, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I didn't think of it at first, but then afterwards it was ridiculous because I, as a grown man, had to ask another grown man to put My Little Pony on his pull list. And I'm thinking, oh, well, it's no big deal. And then when I said it, he just stopped and slowly raised his eyes at me and went, yeah? You gonna be a brony? And it's like, oh, no. And then I go home, I take the comic books. Oh, you son of a gun, and so I go home and I slam the comic books down on the table in front of her. I said, here you go, here's your comic books. And she looked at me kind of funny. I said, I hope you understand what I had to go through just to get these comic books. But no, that's so exaggerated. But yeah, I mean it's great, Yeah. I mean, even comic books that I'm done with, I will get, if I'm not collecting that particular one, I'll get here. If I see a kid that needs a comic book, man, here you go.
Do you collect anything other comic book related stuff? Like statues or you see I collect pops.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
You've got the collection thing. No, I am not especially anywhere near this. Occasionally I've got a couple pops, but I can't do figures, man. One, I don't have the room, and two, that would cut into my comics.
Yeah.
And the comics are more important to me than a little figure. The figures. I like the figures that I come across, that I get, and usually they're gifted to me.
Well, we got a little bit of a issue I want to bring up with you. You need to stop sharing the Pull This Podcast because I'm trying to win that contest.
I saw that, yeah.
I'm even recruited Megan to share their stuff because they're running some deal with some giveaway. A really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call these guys.
Yeah, really good.
I'm gonna try to pull some strings.
Yeah, I want that animated series Batman Funko.
Yeah, you can have that one. I've already got that one.
Okay.
My wife surprised me at our wedding with Funko Pop animated series Batman and Catwoman as our cake toppers.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing
Although we
that.
didn't, we didn't have a traditional cake. We had the donuts and everything, but they're sitting there on top of the donuts.
Yeah.
And then
that is awesome.
Yeah, and even better. So now, to continue the full story with continue down with wife and then go back to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is notorious not notorious. He does when he can wed people.
Mm-hmm.
And he does.
I wanted that so bad.
He does the Green Lantern oath.
Oh yeah, gives me chills.
It's awesome when you hear it on a podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going through our wedding, and you do the vows, and we chose to opt out, and have the guy, we just repeated after him.
Yeah. And
the guy was Scott Shelton. He's also he has a podcast as well.
Okay.
Vulgar Parenting, and I listen to that one too. But he's a great guy. I met him when I met Ryan with Pull Your Podcast. So he officiated the wedding, and my wife then had a surprise after all the vows and everything, and it was the Green Lantern Oath.
Oh.
And man, there's a picture that is just great of me doubled back.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Yeah, and that's what's going on. Is,
yeah.
He goes, oh well, we've got one more thing, and
that's
in
awesome.
Brightest Day, repeat after me, in Brightest Day, and I just, oh my god,
Yeah.
it was awesome. It made it.
That's awesome.
And you brought up your love for the Batman the Animated Series. That's something that we share.
Absolutely.
I learned from the podcast that it was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So I immediately started
binging
watching that, introducing that to my youngest son, because I'm a huge fan of that, but I'm a bigger fan of the Spider-Man the Animated Series from 1994.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that is my favorite of all time.
Yeah. See, Batman was what I rushed home for.
Yeah.
And it just Batman and then X-Men.
Yeah.
I love X-Men too.
X-Men
that
is
old
good.
cartoon. I'll still watch that.
Yeah. And you know what wasn't bad? X-Men Evolution.
I didn't watch that one.
It was I was probably too old to be watching it at the time.
You're never too old.
No, but when you're like, I was probably in high school or damn close. And I was just like, this is not that bad. It's definitely not the same. You go back and watch an X-Men cartoon from the 90s, it's like a rave. There's so much going on. So much.
That's how those comics were, man. Chris Claremont. It was crazy.
Now you've said a few people's names. Who's your favorite writer? Or you don't have to give me one. Who you like? Who's your favorite artist though?
Right now, I've jumped on the metal bandwagon real.
You've been talking metal to me a lot.
And I'm not even gonna say bandwagon because I've been following Scott Snyder since Gates of Gotham, and he was part of that, and
did he do Court of Owls?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that right there, and actually I shouldn't say that I followed him through Gates of Gotham. It was the Court of Owls that really, that title run of Batman of New 52.
I know you've always talked very highly of that.
Yeah, man. That is such an amazing run, and with that team of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo they are just unreal. And it's great because you can listen to interviews with them, and at first, man, they butted heads, and Scott wanted to do it his way, Greg was used to doing it his way, and they were both kind of rock stars at their own,
Yeah.
and watching those egos collide, and man, I don't know what it was like, the perfect storm. Now metal's amazing, it's great. In my opinion, it lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
I haven't read it since issue 3, but I still collect it.
Yeah.
Because it's just so wild. Like, Scott Snyder has got all the best writers, all the best artists, and literally just took both hands and dug into the DC pool and has everybody. Detective Chimp is in this comic book.
Jeez.
And no one knows anymore. No, unless you're into comic books, you don't know who Detective Chimp is.
Right. Yeah.
And it's I can't wait to read it all. I want to read it all at once.
Yeah, I've learned that is how I enjoy reading in a trade paperback form.
Yeah, so like with metal, I went and bought like exclusive variants and everything like that, like Virgin covers and stuff like that. And that was fun, but I don't know that I'm gonna do that again because it's so taxing to. The hardest collection that I've ever done was the original run of Age of Apocalypse.
Wow.
And I set guidelines for myself with that, which this is really bad. I'm kind of embarrassed saying this out But I set guidelines. Like I had to find everything in the long box.
Yeah. Oh
And
gosh.
it has taken
Stipulations.
me. Yeah, and it has taken me the better half of almost 10 years, but I've found everything. There's only 2 comic books in that collection that I have that I bought online, and they were the gold covers for Alpha and Omega, and the gold covers were retailer exclusives. So back in the 90s when that original run happened, they've remade it like 3 times. The original run is what I like. But when you were buying those original comic books, every comic book store got 1 copy.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Of Alpha and Omega Gold, and I've got both.
Wow.
Nice.
They're like a 9.2 on both of them.
Wow. I know you've mentioned before, but I want you to put on the record here.
Oh.
What is your prized comic book possession?
Prized comic book possession.
Or maybe if you got 1 or 2, that's fine.
The prized is my most valuable is probably at this point probably my first appearance of Dead Man. I went and in doing
Tell listeners a bit about who Dead Man is, because I know Megan's probably never even heard.
Yeah, no, never.
Well, Dead Man was created by the great Carmine Infantino.
Sweet name.
Yeah, that is a badass name.
That is an epic name.
Yeah.
He later, I think he later damn near ran DC Comics. But what Dead Man was he was like a circus performer, and he was murdered in the middle of his act.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an acrobat.
All right.
And he was shot in midair, and then death felt pity on him or something of that nature, and let him come back to avenge his death. But he came back as a ghost. So
I like it. I'm sold.
So he can act. He will actually possess your body.
Okay.
And either save you or make you do something in order to help him.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Dead Man is an amazingly underrated character.
I'll have to check him out.
Neil Adams actually has a Dead Man run going on right now that he is wrote and drawn.
Nice. Yeah, I have a soft spot for ghosts, so.
Yeah. Dead Man would be probably right up your alley. He's Boston Brand, I think his name was. I know it was Boston or something like that. And he's kind of a wise, cracking, Boston guy.
That was just a little tease.
Perfect.
This was a little tease of our rides.
Yeah.
By the way, it would be me. Jason would say somebody's name that I'd known from the movie or the cartoon, and then I'd be like, "Well, tell me more." And then it would be like he knew every little thing about the guy.
It's weird. I never really thought of it that way.
It was just fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know. Never thought I had anything to say.
I didn't listen to a word he said about electrical work, but damn it, I listened to everything he said about comics.
Tell me more about them splices.
Wait, AB Power Common.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right on.
One guy listening will know what the hell we're talking about. Corey.
Todd?
Todd, yeah. Todd should know.
Yeah, Todd should know, maybe.
Jeez, a lot of the guys were a part of the network have had their hands in a generator.
Yeah. At one point or another, they've probably all hated my guts.
They've all hated and loved you.
So anyway, announcement. Big announcement?
Big announcement. We're going to end it on the huge announcement. And I want Jason to have the honors.
Oh.
You set this up. The floor is yours.
Oh,
tell the
gracious.
listeners.
All right, so what we're going to try to do here, and I say try, but we're actually going to do it.
We are doing this.
For sure.
We're going to get some representatives from all the other Some Guys podcasts.
Yeah, the Some Guys Talking Podcast Network will be represented in full.
There we go. And what we're going to do is do our first ever live podcast from at Skylark Comics, or Skylark Toys and Comics in Grove City, Ohio.
Yep. We will be on the biggest day, like
Yeah.
essentially Black Friday of Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Well, Comic Book Day is
Yeah.
the Black Friday for a comic book shop.
I've never been to a comic book shop on free comic book day.
Yeah. So free comic book day is the day that we're doing this. It's May 5th. I hope that everyone likes and shares and subscribes to this so that we can get the word out.
We will be posting all the links, and more information will come down the line on all the shows. We'll have information. But right now...
You want to give the address?
Yeah, if you want to go... The point is, we're trying to get across how cool this place is.
Yeah, it's a great store.
It is at 4060 Broadway in Grove City, Ohio, 43123. If you could, do us a favor and go to Facebook and like this guy's shop at Skylark Toys and Comics. And do me a favor, like it and send him a message that you heard it here on Some Geeks Talking or Some Guys Talking. Let him know where you heard it. He's a really nice guy. Jason, you actually have a pretty good relationship with him because he's your dealer.
He's my dealer, man.
Yeah, he gives you that comic book fix.
Yeah, man. So he's my local comic book shop, and
this is huge, exciting news. A live.
Yeah, Tyler almost crapped himself when I told him that I landed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did.
I mean, this is a big deal. We will be, live to tape, but it'll be a live in front of. You can come watch us record a show.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be exciting.
We're going to have a lot of hopefully a lot of customer interaction.
Yeah, we want you on the show.
Yes.
We want
play some games.
Yeah, we're going to play some games. And we're going to have a contest.
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to have a couple of prizes too.
Yeah, the details of this contest are coming soon. But right now, you'd better subscribe on iTunes, Google Play. Follow us on Twitter at Some Geeks Talkin'. There's no G because you can't have the G. I ran out of space.
Oh.
So we're just talking. But on Instagram, we're Some Guys Talk, or Some Geeks Talking. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hey, man.
You got a lot
of
hard work, man.
Yeah,
hard work.
Tongue twisters.
Put in a lot of, believe it or not, folks, you put in a lot of extra hours to make podcasts and make comic books.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't just
chase your dreams. You do not get them. No one's just going to give them to you, man.
Yeah, they don't magically just appear.
Yeah.
Unless they're just phone calls from, hey, by the way, you want to do a live show after you've had 2 episodes?
Yeah, by the way.
Like, oh, yeah?
Hey, I got some other ideas too.
Yeah. Man. But I guess we're going to end it on that.
Right on, man.
Well, it has been a pleasure having you here. This is the origin story. This probably will be issue 1.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Issue 1?
Yeah, issue 1 of Some Geeks Talking.
Let's do it. Yeah, I definitely want to be issue 1.
Oh, yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
The
first appearance.
Yeah,
Well,
Wicked.
How's that work? Okay, comic guy. How's this work? If you're in issue 1, are you just a character?
Okay, so now issue 1 technically, I guess, would have been the other show?
No, this is a different show, so this is...
Well, okay. Maybe this is my title run.
Yeah.
No, it's the origin story, man.
Yeah.
I just got first appearance. First appearance would have gone to them, but first full appearance is right here.
So this was like...
So this is the one you would collect.
Didn't Wolverine was in one panel of... Was it Hulk or something like that?
Well, yeah, he did debut in that, but
then he had he was in the last panel. It was the teaser, and then we had a whole issue with him.
Yeah, another reference would be like Apocalypse.
Oh, better reference.
Yeah, so Apocalypse would be I cannot, without the internet, I can't remember these numbers. I don't want to remember these numbers. We're just gonna say issue 49 of X Factor.
Yeah.
The very last page you saw Apocalypse, okay, and then issue 50 or 52. Insert the right number here. Internet. I'm sure you guys will blast me. But
Pew, pew,
that
pew.
was the first full appearance.
Right.
So I got my name over there, but
Yeah.
you know, here we go. This
Yep.
is the real thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what set it all in motion. So
Well, Megan, thank you for sitting in.
Absolutely.
yeah, Megan.
This was your very first.
I may have choked on water, but I did not throw up.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
Well.
did great.
That's
More
all.
to come.
Yeah, definitely more to come. Stay tuned.
How do we end the show?
We just end it by saying,
You just say that's it?
no, we gotta have a sign.
You gotta
off.
have if it's like you gotta have a
Yeah, like
you gotta have a cliffhanger or something.
Oh,
My
yeah.
cliffhanger is...
Why would somebody listen to the next episode?
yeah. So, like,
We've got a live show.
yeah,
Keep posted.
definitely stay posted.
It's a working progress.
Yeah, this one's a little rougher on the edges on the end. I'm not gonna lie to you, people.
It was all impromptu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the end of the show.
Hope you liked it.
Yeah, I guarantee you did.
I'm about to change my pants and go play Mario Kart.
Boom. That's how we're gonna end the show. Let's
Right
go play
on.
Mario
Yeah,
Kart.
let's go play Mario Kart.